What's up, my fellow gun dogs, and welcome back to my hot take. Today's hot take is on solo leveling. Little background. I've been watching anime, or I've been in anime since fifth grade. I was exposed to it by a kid named Win, a Vietnamese boy, introduced me to anime. I was fifth grade, so I don't know how many years. Over 20 years. I mean, I think I read the Naruto manga for 20 years on its own, so for a while. I did eventually transition from less from anime and more so into mangas because manga's just quicker. I'm just getting older. I don't have the time to watch a 20-minute episode if I can read the whole thing in three to 4 minutes. So I finished the solo leveling manga yesterday, and let's talk about it. First things first. I'm gonna make some comparisons to Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man. These three, Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, and Solo Leveling, the most recent mangas I've been into. I kind of fell off anime for a while because as I got older, because watching some of that classic stuff, and sure, I'm an elitist purist in many respects, but after watching some of that older stuff and just getting more, as anime progressed, it just became just so, I'm going to say derivative more than once, but it just seemed just the same, more of the same, just so formulaic. And there was nothing new. I like the last anime I thought that did something a little different was like Death Note. And by the way, I'm going to interchange manga and anime. So I might say anime, I mean manga, and vice versa. All right, let's get the good out of the way. So those of you who just clicked at it for my hot take, hey, if you like good action, if you like cool action, and you like RPG video game mechanics, including leveling up and going into dungeons, fighting bosses, and getting loot, well, boy, oh boy, this anime manga, this is for you. And if you are already sold and you love this series, now might be the time to leave. My hot take on this, and the only reason I'm having this reaction at all, is because it was Solo Leveling. I think it was the number one anime on Crunchyroll last year, which is a big anime streaming site. And then I had two separate friends, independent, recommend this to me. One of them was like, I'll give you my Crunchyroll premium account so you can watch this. And I'm like, what an endorsement. And this guy has in the past liked some reputable animes. And so I'm like, cool, I'll check it out. If I had seen this on my own and it wasn't really popular, I might even recommend it. I'd be like, yeah, it's pretty cool. But for the reaction that people are having about this, and for me to come into it with these expectations and go through the whole thing, this is the most mid manga I've ever read in my life, or anime I've ever experienced in my life. Another reason I read the manga is because a lot of times they're finished when the cartoon or the anime is not even close. So I want to let's get it out of the way, get it out of our life. So it's even on the lower end of mid. I wouldn't even put it mid, high mid. It's low mid, and let's talk about why. Okay, characters. Name me some characters. I mean, there are characters in it, but they just don't have any depth. Our main character, Ji-Woo Sung, he has one dimension. It's, I gotta level up. Is he cool? I mean, is he cool? I don't even want to say he's cool. He does cool stuff, but that can be, perfectly contrived by the look. He says cool things. I'm reminiscent of Auron from Final Fantasy X. They tell us he's cool because he's got one arm resting and he has a big sword. But what they actually show you in all the flashbacks is Auron is not a cool character. And here's Jin-Woo, and I guess they show you killing stuff. But other than that, he's got no depth. There's a character, and there will be some light spoilers. Can I finish the manga? So I'm going to be talking about it. There's a character called Beirut, he's just like very much a supporting character. He's got more depth because we find out that he likes Korean soap operas. He likes stories. He likes his TV stories. Yeah. What is Jin-Woo like? Anyone? He likes to level up. I was jokingly saying that this was an allegory for a gym bro just trying to make his gains. I also wrote down on here the worst Superman / Jesus allegory, because there's some self-sacrifice stuff at the end, but of course they don't even follow through with that. That might have been interesting, but no, you can't kill this off when it's just pure. You can't kill off your main character when all you have is fan service. I talked about earlier. I said it's got great action, cool action. I did not say great fights. It does not have good fights, because that would imply that the other guy is fighting back, and 90% of the fights, I'm going to say 95, it's just Jin Woo completely one-sided, completely destroying the other person, and it becomes so expected. There's no, and that happens. That's not uncommon in anime. I told a friend that. I said, look at your One Punch Man, but that has a different tone. You know, that's got a level of comedic, like, I'll do 100 crunches and push-ups. But, you know, the solo leveling wants you to know we're dead serious about this. We're dead serious. So, yeah, they introduced, like, one of the strongest characters. Even see, like, this is the strongest guy. You know, I keep thinking of a la Dragon Ball, which we should also talk about in a second. And yeah, he just beats the dude to death with his bare hands. You know, the guy's got magic and all these abilities, and he just pummels the guy with his bare hands. So that's neat. And in that respect, I pointed out on Dragon Ball that, you know, even Goku dies. Goku gets beat up. Goku, the one that people think could beat Superman, or some people think, you know. It's like, not Jin Woo. He don't die. No, he don't get beat up. Also, yeah, supporting character. Someone just might be like, he's got a sister. He does have a sister. What can you tell me about her? Or I talked motivations for the main character. What's Jin Woo's motivations to level up? That's it. And someone said, well, he wants to cure his mom. And kind of. They mentioned that once. They mentioned that once. And then once it's over, once she's okay, he's like, all right, peace, bitch. I'm going to go level up. He just leaves again, just goes back. It was such a fleeting moment. It's just there's no depth. There's no heart. I was going to say a character that's heart is Chainsaw Man. Forgive me. I'm missing the name. I'm neglecting the name at the moment. I read these things really fast, and so not everything sticks. Don't hold that against me. I don't mean that. Things stick. I'm bad with names. But, yeah, the main character has a lot of heart, and it's juxtaposed by an anime that has a real dark streak. They kill so many people just willy-nilly in Chainsaw Man. I love that, because, again, he's this good, pure-hearted child who just wants to touch a boob, who's got this chainsaw devil. And it's interesting. Another thing Chainsaw Man does, and I should have, there's less structure here. We're still talking about characters. Yeah, his mom doesn't have any personality. She's just typical, like, Korean mother. And you can substitute Korean, Japanese. I know it's a Korean manga. It's not technically a manga. It's called something else, but it's a manga. Yeah, none of the other characters really pop out. Occasionally, like the guy I talked about, him fighting and beating near to death with his knuckles. He has, like, a couple moments. But they're all just flat. That's characters. And we're going to come back to that at the end, actually. So story. I couldn't tell you what happened in the first 100 issues. I mean, I probably could. But there were no peaks or valleys. Like, oh, one time they went to a red gate. I'm like, oh, what's significant about that? It's red. It's red. It's red. It's red. No. The specifics are supposed to be like another dimension. And we just see, he can pull out blankets. It just wasn't. Again, I wasn't at the edge of my seat. Immediately, he's easily killing the high-level creatures in there. Again, no threat to anybody else. There's just no suspension. Meanwhile, let's flip it over to Chainsaw Man. First 100 issues is a major story arc full of little interesting story arcs. Like, they're in a hotel fighting a devil. He's meets another devil that's after him. Yeah, devils are after him. There's a bounty on his heart. So people are coming to get him. Things like that. First 100 issues of Solo, I'm like, I don't. He's just leveling up the whole time. Besides the setup at the beginning, which, by the way, I should say, after like the first 20 issues, I went to a friend and said, "Is this the one who recommended it?" I was like, "Is this it? Is that okay? This is video game mechanics. Is that it?" Like I was already piercing the veil and realizing I'm like they haven't introduced anything else other than this video game mechanic thing gimmick. Is that it? And that's fine. You can like that. It's just not remarkable. Again, this is cotton candy. It's you put this in water and it evaporates. Speaking of, and I should go back to the beginning, the video game mechanics. They don't. This is a spoiler. Well, again, you probably, if you stuck around, you're ready for that. They don't even properly explain why it's video game mechanics. The hook for this manga anime, the hook, the thing, the reason why we're all here, they don't even properly explain it. They explain it away. They say, oh, well, you know, we wanted this guy to exceed his human limiters, so we made it kind of like a game. But the person who did this was one of that's this elevated, high, other dimensional being, right? Why does he know about video games? Why does he know about video games? Why was it video games in particular? They just said they tried to make it kind of a game to try to gamify his goals. But why video games? You know, why? Because they also had, you know, early on he's got his daily tasks. His daily tasks are exercise related. Do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, run a little bit. Why is that there? And then yet, you know, dungeon instances. Why that? Why are the two related? Like, especially once your stats start going up. And now we are talking about One Punch Man. Like, why am I still running and doing crunches? Because I have superhuman speed. My agility is so high. Well, what does it matter if I do some push-ups? Again, there's just such a disconnection, and they do not justify it, other than the writer thought it was cool, which we should get into. But I think we're back. We're still talking about story. Yeah, the last 35 issues are kind of interesting, but they just get dumped on you really all at once. Again, it was about 35 issues, but the first 120 or 125, it's just like, oh, you know, it was, again, that's just so excessive. You could have done it in 50, and it still arguably would have been too long. No big bad guy. They never introduced a big bad until like 135 issues in. I'm sorry, it's actually closer to like 156. I'm sorry, it's 156. There's no big bad guy. There's so many bad guys in Chainsaw Man. Oh, right. And, yeah, back to Gene Woo being a boring character, because he really is. If you like him, it's just because you think he's cool. That's it. There's nothing else to like about him. I pointed out about Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't even think it's even that great either. But it's so much better than Solo Leveling. If you don't like the main character in Jujutsu Kaisen, if you don't like Yuji Itadori, guess what? You've got about 20 other interesting characters to gravitate to, who will all get their time in the sun, on time to shine. You know, I'm a huge fan of Chozo, and by the way, Chozo had to earn that. I was like, this guy looks ridiculous. I don't know. He earned my respect through actions throughout the series. Jinwoo, God, ugh. What did you? Blech, blech. If you don't like the main character in Solo Leveling, well. All right. Let's wrap this up. So the music in the manga, terrible. There were scenes that really could have used some epic action sequences. Where I'm like, where's the music? Yeah, the manga had bad music. Oh yeah, but the final thing. Here's another. Here we go. Here's the conclusion. My coup de grace, as they say. There was a romance element, and a lot of anime have those. Sometimes that's the central aspect of the anime. It's the will they, won't they type thing. But they just kind of dabble. They just kind of touch it and then leave it be. The creator just is like, here it is. Nope, just kidding. With the one girl, the one S rank. I forgot her name. She's got a different name. She's like into Jean Woo, and she's like, oh, I think I like you, or I think I'm interested in you, and then it just gets abandoned. And I could have looked up information about the creator, but I'd rather just spit the cold what this is like. Because by the way, adults can still do this. This manga gives the strongest. This is teenage boy power fantasy 101. This is entry level power fantasy, teen boy power fantasy. And I'm going to go and start with the romance, because then I'll finish with the main point. Is that so the girl likes him. Like, at least all the girls don't like him, because again, he didn't dabble on romance, but like the girl likes him. But what's her thing? She thinks boys just smell bad. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean hunters. Hunters just smell bad, but not Jean Woo. He smells good. Like, oh my god. This is clearly a kid whose mom was like, your room stinks. Oh, honey, baby, you smell bad. No girl's gonna like you if you smell bad, if you don't shower. That's the reason she likes him. He's cool. You know, he saved her. You know, power fantasy, rescuing the damsel. He saved her, and he smells good. And everyone else smells bad, but he smells good. Oh, just really. I ate that up. That's probably the most interesting thing, other than the character who likes soap operas, like period soap operas. That was actually pretty interesting. That's funny. And when I said teen power fantasy, so we have a good guy, but he uses the power of darkness, death, and darkness. But he's good. I use the power of darkness for good. Come on. That's every weak nerd's power fantasy. It's so 14 years old. I mean, that's actually kind of old for this level of power fantasy. Like, oh, he uses the power of darkness. I remember when I was into Spawn, when I was 14 years old. God, the power of darkness. It's kind of like Batman, but Batman has, again, a little bit higher level of maturity to it. But just, it's just so cringe. Yeah, did a teen write this? I wrote that. That was one of my earliest notes. Anyway, and so that's my hot take. If you made it all the way to the end, go ahead and put your favorite food down in the comments so that I know you made it to the end. Thanks, guys, and maybe we'll do more of these videos. I just felt so empowered to talk about solo leveling, and that just again how sub-mid it was. That all of you guys, or all of these people, really like it, and that's fine. People like bad stuff. It's okay. I like bad stuff. I like the live-action Speed Racer movie. I contend that was actually pretty good, though. I'm trying to think of stuff that I'd like that's bad. Like, you know, some of the Fast and the Furious movies. Or, well, I wouldn't say I like them, but I appreciate what they are. I'm like, this is also trash. People like trash. It's okay. Junk food, if you will. Junk food for the soul. And so maybe another thing is that are you guys projecting yourselves into Jean Woo? Is it like, you know, the first person FPS shooter games? You're like, that's me. I'm cool. You know, I'm saving people, and I don't smell bad at all. Especially not to girls. So anyway, gun dogs, have a good one. Thank you for your time, and let's do this again sometime.